we are watching something pretty profound happen right now. It looks like the systematic formation of, well, maybe a $500 billion monopoly.
And it's not being built through the usual M&A playbook, right? It's pure platform architecture.
Exactly. OpenAI, they're not just satisfied making better chatbots or language models. They seem to be systematically replacing whole startup ecosystems. It feels like they want ChatGPT to be the next sort of core digital operating system. Yeah.
It's definitely aggressive, brilliant, maybe, in a ruthless kind of way. And their latest Dev Day announcements really just confirmed it all.
Yeah.
They've basically perfected this playbook we've started calling watch, learn, replace. And the timeline, it's speeding up a lot.
Which is exactly why we need this deep dive. We really have to look closely at the sources talking about this transformation. And maybe more importantly, figure out what actions we need to take, right now to adapt and survive.
Makes sense.
So today, we're going to unpack the 3 big pillars of this strategy: the Apps SDK, Agent Kit, and ChatKit. Then we'll dig into the almost superhuman tech engine that's driving their speed. And finally, look at the strategic response that's probably required.
Okay, let's start with the scale, just to set the stage. Because this whole strategy, it rests on a foundation that's already huge. We're talking a potential $500 billion valuation and maybe 800 million weekly active users. That user base, that's the leverage. It's the core piece for all their market domination plans.
And that mechanism they use, the watch, learn, replace playbook you mentioned, it just sounds devastating for smaller players. The sources seem to lay out a pretty clear pattern. 4 steps.
Yeah, it's almost like clockwork. Step 1, release APIs. Get developers building on their tech. Step 2, watch closely, monitor usage, see what features people actually want. Essentially let the market do the R&D for them.
Okay.
Step 3, identify the winners, the products that really take off, find that product market fit.
And step 4?
Attack and replace, build a native, probably better version right into the OpenAI platform. Game over for the original developer often.
That is a tough blueprint to compete against. So, okay, let's look at the infrastructure they're actually using to pull this off, these 3 new pillars.
Right, starting with the Apps SDK. This is the big one that aims to turn ChatGPT into, like, the next app store. It's a huge shift in how we might interact with services.
How so?
Well, think about it. You, the user, you might not bother going to, say, booking.com anymore.
Okay.
You'll just ask ChatGPT to handle your travel booking. And ChatGPT will use booking.com, but just as a back-end plugin. You never actually leave the chat.
But hold on. Haven't we seen things like this before? Google Assistants, Alexa, they tried to be that central hub. Why would this succeed where they kind of stalled?
I think the difference is agency and much, much better language understanding.
Right.
The older platforms, they were pretty much limited to specific voice commands, right? Or these fixed skills, very rigid.
Right, very limited scope.
Yeah. ChatGPT can grasp intent across really complex multi-step tasks. That turns it into a genuinely flexible, operating environment, not just a voice remote.
So the website itself, the destination, becomes less important than its function inside this AI gateway.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, what about pillar 2? Agent Kit.
Agent Kit, that's OpenAI's direct shot at the automation platforms. Think Zapier, Make.com, that sort of thing. It's a full platform for building AI agents, but the standout feature is this really powerful visual workflow builder.
Visual.
Yeah, like drag and drop. You're essentially stacking together different AI capabilities and data sources, like building with digital Lego blocks. It suddenly makes building complex automations accessible to almost anyone.
Wow, visual automation tools, but backed by the power and models of OpenAI. That's significant. And pillar 3, ChatKit.
ChatKit is all about embedding AI intelligence everywhere. It lets you put a customizable chat interface onto any website or app.
Like a standard chatbot in bed.
Sort of. But the really revolutionary part is something they call widgets. These aren't just text bubbles. They're interactive UI components. Think calendars, charts, even payment forms that live and function directly inside the chat window.
Whoa.
Yeah. It transforms a basic chatbot into this dynamic little mini application, all contained within the conversation itself.
Okay, putting it all together. Apps SDK keeps you in the chat, Agent Kit lets them build replacements fast, and ChatKit embeds this experience everywhere. The goal seems to be containing the entire user journey inside their AI environment.
Precisely.
It's a ruthless strategy, all right.
Yeah.
But the execution, it requires unbelievable speed. If they're replacing entire successful products, they must be shipping code at rates we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
What's the engine behind that speed? How are they moving so fast?
It really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the $500 billion question. And the answer is they're using their own extremely advanced internal AI tools to build everything.
So the AI is building the AI. The public stuff is almost a side effect of their internal capability. Can you walk us through what Codex is exactly?
Yeah, Codex is basically their secret weapon. It's their internal coding assistant, or maybe partner is a better word. And it's reportedly running on a highly optimized version of GPT-5.
Okay.
And it's way beyond just generating code snippets. It functions like a really complex AI development team member.
A superhuman team member,
Yeah,
from the sound of it.
Pretty much, yeah. Think about what the sources say it can do. Automated, complex code reviews. That alone massively speeds up quality control.
Right.
It can handle refactoring tasks that might take a human developer hours, maybe even days, tedious, error-prone work, and do it in minutes.
Multi-hour refactors in minutes. Wow.
And get this. It can apparently manage over 20 distinct development tasks asynchronously, working on different parts of a huge code base all at the same time.
That's incredible. And they even released an open source SDK for it. Why would they do that?
That's the strategic masterstroke, isn't it? By open sourcing parts of Codex, they're essentially encouraging the entire industry to adopt their way of building software super fast, AI-assisted development. It standardizes their methods.
And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Agent Kit.
Exactly. That whole sophisticated agent building platform we were just talking about, the one with the visual builder, built in 6 weeks. Beat.
Yeah.
Using these internal AI tools.
6 weeks?
Yeah, that's the reality check for every developer out there. It hammers home the point. You probably can't outship AI if you're not using AI tools yourself. It's becoming table stakes.
Okay, let's look a bit closer at Agent Kit then. People can access it now.
Yep, it's available through platform.opi.com, and they've included some useful pre-built templates to get started things for data enrichment, a planning helper, customer service bots, document comparison.
Common use case.
How does it connect to everything, though, to all the other apps and services people use? That's where this thing called MCP Model Context Protocol comes in. Think of MCP as like a universal translator and security layer for AI agents.
Okay.
It standardizes how AgentKit can securely talk to thousands of different third-party apps without needing custom code for each one. So for instance, a service provider like RubeMCP gives you access to like over 500 apps, Gmail, Slack, GitHub, Supabase, you name it, all through one connection setup in AgentKit.
So instant integration power. Huge library access.
Bingo, rapid, broad connectivity. That's crucial for building useful agents quickly.
Now, something else that caught my eye in the ChatKit documentation. You mentioned finding something interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a hidden treasure buried in the docs. It's the entire prompt they use for their widget builder agent, and it is massive. We're talking 55,000 characters long.
55,000 characters for one prompt. Beat? Wow. I mean, honestly, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself when I try to build anything complex. Just getting AI to behave reliably, consistently, it's a real challenge.
It absolutely is. And this prompt, it's basically a masterclass in advanced prompt engineering. It's not just long for the sake of being long.
Right.
It's packed with layers of instructions for things like error handling, really sophisticated input validation, complex logic, even strategies for how different internal subagents should coordinate. It's essentially the architectural blueprint for building a truly reliable, complex AI system that has to control interactive UI elements.
So if these tools like AgentKit are becoming so powerful and fast, is mastering this kind of deep prompt engineering, maybe even specifically studying that giant 55,000 character example, is that now the most critical skill for developers who want to build serious AI applications?
I'd say yes, absolutely. That deep mastery of prompting, understanding how to structure these complex instructions and constraints, it's becoming essential. It's really the difference between building a robust enterprise-grade system versus just, a fun little demo bot that breaks easily.
This speed, this power, it obviously goes beyond just making software faster. It points towards much bigger societal changes. Job displacement comes up a lot.
Yeah, and the sources, they don't shy away from it. It's the uncomfortable truth, right?
What kind of jobs are we talking about?
Well, the examples OpenAI themselves used were pretty direct. Things like camera operators, translators, even radiologists, potentially teachers. They demoed these hyper-personalized AI tutors. The analogy that really hit home for me was the real estate agent example. They showed how an agent could be created to give tours of, say, the Palace of Versailles. The implication is, well, you could potentially replace every single human tour guide there with AI.
Wow.
It points to this idea that any job relying heavily on informational delivery or routine cognitive tasks, stuff that isn't truly unique human insight or interaction, is now potentially vulnerable.
And this connects to an idea mentioned in the sources, the Great Divide. What's that about?
It's this potential future where society kind of splits into two groups based purely on how people interact with AI.
Okay, two groups.
On one side, you've got the superhuman. These are the people who embrace the tools. They automate tasks, maybe build custom software 50 times faster using AgentKit, use AI for strategic thinking. They become dramatically more effective, more productive.
And the other side?
The other side is potentially the addicted.
Addicted.
Yeah, the risk here is people getting trapped, consuming endless streams of AI-generated content, what some call digital slop. Think infinite, perfectly optimized, but ultimately empty SEO articles, or those weirdly smooth, generic TikTok videos. Content that's increasingly stimulating but provides little real value or nourishment, and potentially falling prey to sophisticated misinformation.
In this digital slop problem, it's about to get way worse, isn't it? With tools like Sora 2.
Exactly. OpenAI releasing Sora 2 via an API. That's a game changer for video. We're rapidly approaching the point where AI-generated video will be truly indistinguishable from real footage for most people.
Whoa, just imagine scaling that. 1 billion users, each getting perfectly realistic, personalized video content on demand.
That's
mind-boggling.
It is. And you see major creators, people like Mr. Beast, publicly saying this stuff poses an existential threat to traditional human content creation. How do you compete with infinite, free, perfectly tailored video?
So what's the survival strategy then? For creators, for anyone whose work involved content?
The sources suggest a mandatory pivot. Focus exclusively on education and unique human insight. Meaning content that offers genuinely novel analysis, deep expertise born from real experience, or a truly authentic human perspective. Stuff AI can't replicate easily. Anything less generic information, surface-level commentary is likely going to be drowned out or replaced.
Okay, but if AI can generate entire, indistinguishable videos or articles, how does a new entrepreneur even start? How do you build a defensible business model if anything you create can potentially be copied instantly by AI?
That's the crux of it. The defense isn't just the content itself anymore. It's about focusing intensely on a specific niche where you have real expertise and, crucially, building a human-centric community around that expertise. Building trust. That's much harder for AI to replicate than just raw information output. Mid-roll sponsor break.
All right, let's shift gears now to the strategic response. We've painted a picture of a very powerful, fast-moving platform. It sounds intimidating, but maybe its rise doesn't have to be a death sentence for everyone else.
Right. The survival guide, based on the sources, seems pretty clear. Don't try to compete head-on with OpenAI's core infrastructure. That's likely a losing battle. Instead, use the platform. Build on it.
Okay, so for entrepreneurs, what does that look like practically?
It means seriously considering building ChatGPT-native apps using that Apps SDK. Go where the 800 million users are. Get discovered there. And, critically, use AgentKit for rapid prototyping. Build your minimum viable product in days, not months. Test ideas incredibly fast. But, and this is key, maintain extreme agility. Be ready to pivot quickly because OpenAI will likely move into successful niches eventually. Assume that.
Adaptability is paramount.
Yeah.
And for developers specifically, what's the advice?
It gets quite technical. Master AgentKit's visual builder, that way of thinking visually about workflows, is becoming crucial.
Clear.
Really study that 55,000 character widget prompt we talked about. Not just the code, but the architecture of the prompt, the error handling, the control mechanisms. It's an education in itself.
Right.
And integrate MCPs, those model context protocols, for broad connectivity. Building isolated agents isn't enough. They need access to the wider digital ecosystem, and MCPs are the standardized way to do that now. Use code export features to build more custom things when needed.
And OpenAI's strategy around open source plays into this too, right? This hybrid approach.
Absolutely. It's quite clever, really. They open source the things that encourage widespread adoption and lock in the ChatKit, front-end components, React, the Codex SDK, even those huge, complex prompts. Get everyone using their tools and methods. But they keep the core strategic assets proprietary. the underlying cloud platform for Agent Builder, the most advanced versions of their models, the core infrastructure. It ensures everyone builds on their platform while they maintain control and the ultimate technical edge.
Which brings us back to the monopoly question. We need to look at this whole shift with balance. There are good aspects, surely.
Undeniably. The good part is that it's democratizing access to incredibly powerful AI agent development tools. It enables innovation at a speed and scale we haven't seen before. Small teams, even individuals, can now build things that were impossible just a year or two ago. Everyone benefits from these tools becoming more accessible, often free to start.
But the flip side.
The flip side is significant. It concentrates an immense amount of power and influence into one single company. It creates a huge dependency for potentially millions of developers and businesses worldwide. And it raises really serious long-term questions about data privacy, algorithmic bias, and whether this level of centralization ultimately stifles competition and innovation in the broader tech landscape.
So given that concentration of power, what's the most resilient strategy for businesses or developers looking long-term?
It seems to be heading towards what the sources call a multi-platform future, or maybe a hybrid approach.
Meaning?
Use ChatGPT and its ecosystem strategically, especially for discovery, user acquisition, maybe for simpler tasks. Leverage their reach.
Well, don't put all your eggs in that basket.
Exactly. Maintain your own native applications for your core, high-value, specialized functionality. The stuff where you need complete control, deep integration, or unique user experiences. And you can power these native apps using AgentKit on the back end for the AI logic, and then embed custom ChatKit components for the UI UX within your own properties. It's about building a hedge, using OpenAI's power without becoming completely dependent on them.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up. What's the big idea, the core takeaway from this deep dive?
I think the core takeaway is simply this. OpenAI hasn't just launched some new products. They have fundamentally redefined the landscape for software development, for content creation, potentially even for knowledge work itself, beat. And the choice facing basically everyone, developers, entrepreneurs, creators, maybe even employees, is becoming increasingly binary and immediate. You either adapt to this new reality and learn to use these tools, or you risk getting replaced or left behind. Engagement isn't optional anymore.
So for you listening, what's the immediate action plan? If this feels urgent, what should be the focus for the next, say, 30 days?
The sources suggest 3 clear things. 1, if you haven't already, create an OpenAI platform account. Get familiar with the interface, the options, just explore today.
Right.
2, build your first simple AgentKit workflow. Doesn't have to be complex, just test it out. See how the visual builder works, connect it to maybe one simple API using MCP. Feel the speed.
Get hands-on.
Exactly. And 3, spend some real time digging into that 55,000 character ChatKit widget prompt. Don't just glance at it. Try to understand its structure, the techniques they're using. It's like a free, advanced course in practical, industrial-scale AI engineering.
A challenging but valuable assignment.
For sure. Look, we're witnessing a transformation that feels kind of inevitable at this point. The real question isn't if OpenAI will consolidate power over significant parts of the internet. It feels like that's already happening. The question is whether you are going to be actively participating, building on this powerful new ecosystem, learning the new skills, or finding yourself watching from the sidelines as the advantage shifts decisively.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Take a moment after this. Really consider where your unique skills, your specific knowledge, your human insight fits into this rapidly evolving AI native world. Because that irreplaceable perspective, that might just be your most valuable asset moving forward. Out to your own music.